Disclaimer, this video is not meant to promote or glamorize drug use in any way. Its primary aim is to educate you about the dangers associated with these substances. Please refrain from engaging in any activities mentioned in this video. I repeat, please refrain from engaging in any activities mentioned in this video. Attention, be careful when taking this drug. It is very dangerous. I did not think so till I experienced it for myself. I knew I would trip, so I got mentally prepared for this trip since I had it planned for a week or so. I made sure I had no bad thoughts or emotions. My friend had picked the plant in a nearby neighborhood where it grows. Who knows how he found out? It was about 3 in the afternoon when I visited him. He had already prepared the tea and chilled it in the refrigerator. Attention, please have someone sober if you attempt this drug. I was stupid and did not have a sober friend. Well, anyways, it didn't hit me for a while till I puffed a bowl or two around 3:50 or so. I felt kind of weird, like I was a fake doll or something. It was weird. I can't explain the feeling. I had mild tracers and weird body feelings. 4:50. I was tripping. I swear this drug I now name is called the memory drug. It brought back past memory as if I replayed them. No lie. This is so weird. I have never had quite the experience. My friend was no longer there, and later on found him tripping hard in the bathroom, all out of control. I swear I remember when I was at the beach, and I really felt like I was there. No messing around, I'm serious. What I'm saying seems to be hard to believe, but I actually was tripping that hard. A half an hour felt like 2 months. Who knows what the hell I could have been doing. I remember I thought I was in an ambulance when I laid down on the couch. I saw people and talked to my relatives for hours. 7, still talking to my relatives and reliving past memories and opening doors, thinking it leads somewhere, was just out of control. I actually was kind of scared and wanted it to go away, but I knew if I started thinking like that, I might go in a bad trip, so I tried to work the CD player, but was unable to since I kept on getting memory relapses and thinking I was at the beach again. I actually remember stepping on the sand and felling the sand. This drug opens up the part of the brain that holds memories and past feelings. I never thought about my friend till hours and hours later. I now think differently about everything. My vision is still weird, and I have visual tracers. 9. I was absolutely mind-fucked. I thought it was morning, and my mom was waking me up for school. By the way, I'm 31 years old. Everything was so real. Another memory of my trip is when I thought I was watching TV, but really my mind was doing the trick. I swear I was watching shows, but in reality, the TV was off. I don't know what shows, but I remember I was watching TV. Or maybe I wasn't watching TV, but it was a memory of watching TV, and I just happened to relive it. Who knows? Well, I didn't sleep the whole night. I was still not right on the head. Still talking to people, and around 12 years the next day, about 21 HRs later, I was still pretty tripping, but not as hard as before. I was able to think logically by then. I was thinking what a weird 21 HRs of my life, which seemed like 5 or 6 years. Very weird time. I do not suggest this plant to anyone that doesn't have good mind stability. Then when I was finally able to get up, I went to the restroom, and I wasn't able to open the door, and I was wondering why, and my friend was on the other side, passed out, so I panicked for a while. But he was breathing, so I felt better. He was in the bathroom, tripping for like 20 RRs till he fell asleep. One thing I like about this drug is one moment you're here, the next somewhere else. It's a weird feeling, trust me. Be careful. This trip occurred 2 years ago in the summer when I was 15 years old. I researched a little bit about the plant. I found out that all parts of the plant are poisonous, but I couldn't find any dosage information on eating the seeds. The main chemicals in this plant are tropane alkaloids, scopolamine, atropine, hyoscyamine. Many plants have tropane alkaloids, like datura, henbane, and European mandrake, but Atropa belladonna is very high up in potency. So I ordered a 1/4 ounce of these seeds online, as they are legal. A 1/4 ounce comes with approximately 7,000 seeds. I decided to start off slow with about 50 seeds. These seeds are very small, like the size of poppy seeds. I wasn't feeling anything after the 50 seeds, so I jumped to 200 seeds. I still wasn't feeling anything, so I went to sleep. The next day, I decided to take another shot at it. I started off with about 200 seeds, waited about 2 hours, and nothing was happening. I then took about 600 more seeds. I waited another 2 hours. I wasn't feeling anything, but when I saw myself in the mirror, my pupils were dilated, almost to the size of my whole eyeball. Eye doctors use atropine to dilate pupils. I was getting mad because it was taking so long to start working, and I didn't even know if it was going to work, so I just downed about 900 more seeds. Me and 2 of my friends start walking to a firehouse fair a few blocks away to check it out. I start feeling my motor skills decreasing. When we get to the fair, it is about 7 p.m., and we just sit down with a few friends for like an hour, just talking and watching the fair. After about a half hour, I get up and start walking. My motor skills just keep decreasing. I think the ground is shifting under me, like in one of those funhouse type things. I keep on tripping. Well, I am tripping, but tripping over the shifting grounds. So one of my friends and I decide to leave because there are cops, and I was getting very messed up. So we went to a park around the block. We sit on a bench, and I decide to smoke a bowl of weed. I'm incapable of packing the bowl, and I just get too tired to try anymore. So I put everything down and going in a corner by some bushes. I start feeling the leaves and taking bites out of some while my friend is sleeping on the bench. I don't know how long I was sitting by the bushes, but it seemed long and short at the same time. I wake my friend up, and she wants to go home. She doesn't know my part of the neighborhood well, so she asks me to walk with her. We start walking down the blocks. I'm just walking on the sidewalks, trying not to fall. I start climbing mountains, which were really just cracks in the sidewalk. I then come across a mushroom on the grass. It looked so amazing. My friend yells to me, and when I look back, the mushroom is gone. We keep walking. We've been walking in circles. I forgot where we were supposed to go, but we finally made it to my house, and we went our separate ways. While I'm at home in my room for a while, I come out into the kitchen to get a drink. My mother comes in and asks me who I was talking to in my room. I tell her it's my friend Dan, who was one of the friends I had over earlier. She tells me to ask him to leave, or she'll call his parents, because it's too late. I actually thought it was daytime, but it was really 3 in the morning. So I go back into my room, but I can't find him. My mom follows me around the house looking for him. I check in closets, in the basement. I thought he was hiding. I checked the backyard and said there was a hole in the fence, that he must have left through the back. Now I go back in my room alone for a while. My mom then comes in my room for some reason. I tell her I can't sleep because there are seeds all over my bed. She asks me to show her what seeds, so I start picking up nothing very carefully and putting nothing into my mom's open hand. She then tells me to go sleep in her bed, but I couldn't in there because there were seeds in her bed too. So I go back into my room again. After a while, I go into the bathroom and start playing with the hand soap dispenser bottle. I would keep on putting it on different shelves, bring it into my room, and my mom would just keep moving it back. Later that night, my mom finds me hysterically laughing at myself in the bathroom mirror, saying that there is 3 of me. In the morning, I'm still very out of my mind, so my dad tells me to get in the car. We start driving, and my brothers follow behind. I just thought that we were going on an outing. We finally parked and reached a big building. I told my brother I thought we were in California. I then told my dad that I was a vampire as I sucked blood from my finger, which really wasn't there. When we got into a building, I was taken into a room. It took me about 15 minutes to realize that I was in a hospital. I started going nuts. I started fighting guards. It took about 5 guards and my brother to hold me down. But I just submitted to them, because while the fight was going on, I saw a baby stroller in the room, and I accidentally kicked it, making me feel guilty, so I let go. I was then given a shot of a tranquilizer, I forget what it was called, and was strapped down to a stretcher and taken into another room. In this room, I could see out the open door, people that I knew from my school, but they weren't really there. I then was seeing scorpion-like creatures crawling and flipping over each other on the walls. I also thought I saw a laptop at the end of the stretcher and thought it was mine, but I couldn't get it because I was tied down. I was then being pushed on the stretcher. A hole opened up in the wall, and I was taken through a secret passageway in circles. Obviously, that wasn't real either. But I was taken to the ICU. There, the trip started getting harder. I thought that I was in a school auditorium, and a game show was going on the stage. And I saw a girl next to me that I fell in love with. I felt the love through my body. It was a blonde girl with no eyes. She was also deaf and mute, with the electricity running through her completely black mouth. After a bunch of stuff I don't really remember, smoke canisters were thrown through windows in the auditorium, spewing smoke all over. I then snapped out. I was tripping for 3 days. I blacked out for a lot of the stuff, but my parents and brothers told me about some stuff that happened. I was put in a straitjacket that had ties from head to toe. I yelled and cursed at the doctors and nurses. At one point, they had me wear a diaper, even though I wasn't going to the bathroom. They didn't want to give me a catheter, because they were afraid of what might happen. I had to be given baths. I was treated like a baby, because I was completely out of my mind and didn't know what was going on. My mom told me that when she went back home, she found a glass in the fridge with the top of a spray bottle in it. Also, the top of the soap dispenser thing was missing, and my brother found it in a tissue box. This was definitely the most intense trip I ever had, and I will never forget it. I might do it again, but not anytime soon. I'm growing it now, to save it for the future. Overall, I ate about 1,500 seeds, and tripped for 3 days. I didn't really know I was tripping. I was just taken to a different world, and all the stuff that happened there was normal. I tried Belladonna last night on my own, and I agree with a lot of people. It is certainly not a drug to be taken lightly. I cannot emphasize that enough. But that's just my opinion, and this was only my first time. I put roughly 0.5 grams of dried leaf into 1 liter boiling water for 10 minutes. I let it reduce to around 300 milliliters, a lovely piss color. I let it cool. The taste reminded me of green tea. 45 minutes later, I felt a wavy warmth over my brain. I could feel it playing with my brain chemistry. Different synapses being opened and closed. 2 to 3 hours in, I had a minor panic attack because the dehydration was getting out of control, and I also felt really drunk. All drugs are toxic, but with Belladonna, I felt physically poisoned. I had plenty of water, but it just flowed right past my throat, where I needed it. It's an extremely discomforting situation, and in that very moment, I severely regretted taking Belladonna. I just wanted her out my body. Because of this, I'm a little reluctant to try it again so soon. I can't even begin to explain my dreams, waking dreams, or mystery objects in my room that I couldn't pick. My depth perception was simply not there. I tried to pick up things that actually existed in my room, even tried to open doors, but my hand would go right through them. If I blinked, they would disappear, and then suddenly, I would be in my bed. The same happened with books, pens, and paper. I was reading my book in bed. It was physically there in my hand. I was flipping pages, reading, then it just disappeared. I woke up the next morning with scratches on my stomach and chest. In between waking and dreaming, I hallucinated several family members who came to pay me a visit. They disappeared too, at a snap of a finger. I found myself talking to myself constantly, even when dreaming. It was absolutely random gibberish, mumbling. Should have recorded it. I was feeling very uncomfortable in my own skin. I threw up. My heart was pumping so fast. My penis shrunk to a far smaller size, to a quarter of its size, and it was difficult to urinate. Not painful, just a real effort. Never could I fully empty my bladder. My choice of drug is cannabis and shrooms, and I've tried at least 5-6 LSD trips. I was expecting a europhic high from Belladonna, a connection with my surroundings, transcendence. But what I got from Belladonna was a vague wake, dream, or drunk stupor. All I can say, it was unusual, and that I have fear for this specific plant. I was in control of myself, but with a high dose, I think I could have lost myself somewhere easily. Sure, there's the Belladonna high drug effects, which are very curious and different, but I found it very unnerving, and I wanted that drug out of my system ASAP. I felt I wasn't full there, like the plant tucked me away into a dark corner of my brain for a few hours. That's why they have sits. I really did feel the toxic effects in my cells. I polluted my ocean, and really the toxics feel heavy in my body and mind. It wasn't a good experience or a bad one. It was just the dehydration that was making me panic, and this horrible sensation right underneath my skin, mostly on my legs. I also felt a strong gravitation effect, which made it difficult to move. At that very time, the dehydration was severe, and the opposite walls of my throat were glued together. Any higher dose, I believe I would have lost my mind. 0.5 g dried grams was enough me. In the future, I think I may try it again, but that's a long way off. It really is a heavy poison. From this experience, I've learned to not panic. It's very important not to. I was so close to physically sprinting to the local hospital 10 miles away for no logical reason. It was an urgent feeling to get help. I had to just try and take it easy, deal with my dehydration quickly and all the time, because I could have easily gotten lost and confused. Such a mind-altering experience, but I can't remember much of it. The Belladonna trip finished around 10 hours ago. It was in my dreams too. Side effects are a little rough, however. Hot and cold flushes, nausea, sensitive eyes. My pupils returned to normalcy the next morning. Fast heart rate, paranoia. Know myself and the plant first. Moderate the dose. I think 0.5 g was a lot for my first try. But no means is it a recreational drug, I've been warned.